Hey guys, so I wanted to pop on here. I know this was not scheduled. I'm not good with scheduling trainings. That is not my strong suit because like most of you, I have kind of a crazy schedule with the online school stuff. Now I've got this space where I can actually do it and not be interrupted. So I'm going to try to do better. But it's hard to schedule a time. So I was listening to a podcast this morning and it just really motivated me. And there's a couple of things that I wanted to share with you guys because we don't do trainings enough on this page. And this is not just my team page, this is our team page. So anytime you have something to say, get on here and say it. Anytime you watch a video and it motivates or inspires you, get on here and share it. This is for everybody in our entire team and your people who are on your team too. So I'm gonna make this kind of quick so that I can touch all the points, but there's several things that I want to say. So for one thing, I know that I have seen some consultants who are in other direct sales companies, and without stepping on toes, I just want to say there's a phrase that I heard recently that I think applies to this too, and it's called a jack of all trade and master of none. So that kind of goes into direct sales. Like if you put all of your time and energy into one thing, you're gonna get way more out of that than trying to be with 5 different companies and sell all these different things. And instead of concentrating on one, you're not gonna make nearly as much money as if you put all that time and energy into that one thing. So another thing I want to say is that some people go into direct sales thinking the same way that some people go into marriage nowadays, as sad as that is. So some people say, oh, well, I'll get married, and if it doesn't work out, I'll just get a divorce. Well, that's not really what marriage was intended for. The same way that your business was not intended for the attitude that, okay, I'll do this for a little while, and if it doesn't work out, I'll just quit. So same thing. You don't go for an interview and let's just say you're going to McDonald's to try to get a job. You would not go to McDonald's and tell the person that's going to hire you, well, I just want to try this out, and if it doesn't work out, I'll probably just quit, find something else. You're not going to get that job. So think of this in the same way. Don't have a plan B. If you put all your eggs in that basket, you're going to fight harder for that business. So that's the first mistake that most people make with this business is they don't treat it like a business. And I realize that some people do this for a hobby. Some people do this because they're obsessed with Scentsy and just want to get their discounts, their rewards, whatever, and be done with it. Sorry. Just forget it for now. So let's see. Just leave it. So, I'm so distracted now. I don't know where I was. So anyways, for some people, this may be a hobby. For other people, it's not. If you want it to be a hobby, that's fine. If you have a job and you are happy with where you are, you don't want to make any more money, and you just want to do this for fun, that's fine. That's not who I'm talking to right now. I'm talking to the people who want to get out of debt, want to take 3-4 vacations a year with their kids while they're young, or with your husband, or whatever. Like whatever your goal is for this business, if it's anything more than a hobby, then I'm talking to you. So spend time on what is going to feed your business. Spend time on what is going to make you money. So this is, again, not trying to step on toes, but watching TV is not building your paycheck. So if you're going to complain about not having orders, not having parties, nobody's joining your team, are you watching TV? Are you watching like 3-4 hours of TV every day? Because that's not making you money. That's time that you could be putting into your business. So if you join and you think that people are going to knock on your door and be like, oh my gosh, you sell Scentsy, I need to buy from you, here's my money, take my money. That is not how this works. This is a job. It's not hard. It's really not hard if you work your job and you're consistent, but it is a job you have to work. There's never in the history of jobs been a job where you don't have to work. It doesn't exist. So I think a lot of people come into this and they give up as soon as it's not like super easy to book 5 parties in a month or to get people to buy hundreds of dollars of product from you, from not even knowing them, not even building a relationship with them, just like cold messaging them. That's not how this works. There is a roadmap for you. So yes, that is not how this works. Does that mean that it's so hard that you can't do it? Heck no. There's so many resources for you. There's zero excuses as to why you can't be as successful as you want to be. There's zero excuses as to why you can't promote to lead, star, superstar, whatever. You have the same roadmap that everybody has. Nobody's lucky. Nobody is doing anything different than what they're telling you to do. There's nothing that you can't do to make your business better, to grow your business, to promote, to make a lot of money. All the people who are promoting, who are making a ton of money, and I mean a ton of money with this business, are doing the same things that you're told to do. They're just doing it, and they're doing it consistently. They're not hard things. We have so many resources to where a few years ago, those resources did not exist at all. They just weren't there. You didn't have the team pages. You didn't have YouTube with something. You can literally search a specific topic on YouTube or on your workstation and find tons of information. Not 1 or 2 things, tons of information. So if you are truly serious about growing your business, you want to make money, you want to grow your team, you have every resource at your fingertips to do all of those things. Being your own boss means that you have to be able to identify the burnout and what you have to do to fix it. So in my business, I'm a hairdresser as well. So sometimes I get to a point where I'm like, I don't want to do hair today. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to talk. Like, I'm just over it. I just don't want to do it right now. That is the burnout. I love my job. Don't get me wrong, but I don't care how much you love your job. I don't care how passionate you are about what you do, whatever it is, there's going to be some point where you have burnout, because Scentsy is a choice and we don't have somebody telling us to clock in or what schedule we have to work or whatever, and we have so much freedom. It's so easy to say, okay, this is not for me anymore. I'm just burnt out. I'm done. This is not working for me. That's so easy to do. But that's not going to build that paycheck for you. That's not going to get you out of debt. That's not going to pay for your vacations with your family or whatever you choose to do with your money. That's not going to help you. That is the easy way out. So when you get burnt out at your job, for example, with my job, when I get burnt out with doing hair, I know that's when it's time for me to go to a conference. That's when it's time for me to do some education, because that is what feeds that passion. And if you're not growing and learning, you're dying. I mean, to me, being stagnant is dying. It's not, if you're not growing and learning, you're not growing. So when you get to that point where you feel burnt out, that's when you have to be able, as a business owner, to identify, okay, this is burnout. 1, why is this happening? 2, what can I do? What are things that I need to change in my business? I know the constants in my business, and that's PRV, training, building my team, training my team, you know, those constant things that you have to have in your business. But what is lacking? What can I change? What is something that maybe has worked for me before, but it's not working for me anymore? So how can I tweak that? Do some education. Get on YouTube. Look up different things that people are doing. That's insane that we have the capability to look at what other people are doing, making tons of money in the same business we are, and we can literally do what they're doing. You can do it in your own way, and you can have the same things. Nobody's lucky. Nobody is more fortunate than you in this business. It's all about what you put into it. That's what you're going to get out. So let's see. When you are failing, this is a huge thing for me too. that I can't stand to hear somebody say, well, I did it and it didn't work. I did what you said. You know, I'll have a coaching call and I'm like, you know, they say, well, I can't get parties. Nobody wants to book parties right now. That's a lie. People are booking parties. You're not asking enough people, period. That's the only reason you're not booking parties. You're not asking enough people. So people will say, well, I've asked so many people and they're not booking. How many people have you asked? 20? No, that's not enough. If you make a list of 100 people and you ask 100 people to book a party and you don't get, let's say, for example, your goal is I'm going to book 5 parties today. If you contact 100 people and you only have 3 parties, contact 100 more. You don't make your goal based off of this is how many people I'm going to talk to, this is how much work I'm going to do. You make your goal based off of the end game, the end result. So if you want to book 5 parties, don't stop contacting people until you have 5 parties booked. That's it. It doesn't matter how many people you talk to. Your goal has to be based off that end result. So when you fail, I know an example that people use about failure all the time is Albert Einstein. He failed so many times. So there's so many great people successful people who have failed over and over and over again. That's what you do. That's how you become successful, is not being afraid to fail. So I'm not saying that your business failed and you're giving up, like that kind of fail. I'm saying like the little failures that we have, like you couldn't book parties. You set out to book 5 parties. You couldn't book the 5 parties. Tweak your business. Watch some videos. Train yourself. Talk to your sponsor. Talk to your director or your star director or your superstar director, whoever your go-to is, and get a plan together. Just because you failed and you didn't get something done that you wanted to get done, or you feel a little bit bad about yourself, doesn't mean that it's time to throw in the towel. That's not how this works. That's not going to make you successful. So I put an example down, like when you work at McDonald's and you make the Big Mac wrong, you don't just throw it down. I don't know why I chose McDonald's for my analogy, but I just did. So if you're new, you're just learning how to make the Big Mac and you don't make it right, you didn't add the lettuce or whatever, you don't just throw it down and say, I can't do this, I suck at this, I'm done, I quit. You would not get paid. You need that job to pay your bills, right? So this is the same thing. This is a job. So don't throw in the towel over something small that maybe is not your strong suit, and you need to build that skill a little bit better and work on that. Okay, let's see. Set goals for yourself on a weekly basis. So you need to have goals for your business. Like not necessarily your end game, because an end game is implying that, or an end goal is implying that you're like done at some point. But maybe, set your big goals, whether, I want to be superstar director one day. That's a big goal. That's not if you're a lead consultant, that's not like a month goal. I mean, it could be, it really could be, but for most people, that's not a month goal. That's a long-term goal. So make smaller goals so you have small victories. I love Dave Ramsey. I'm like a huge fan of him. I listen to him constantly. Do I do everything he says? No. Should I? Yes. But one thing that I love that he does is when you're paying off debt, he calls it the debt snowball. So you start with the smallest thing first. And us as humans, we concentrate on that big number and we're like, oh, I want to get rid of that one, or that biggest payment that you have, or whatever. But he says start with the smallest one so that you build confidence along the way and that you have those small victories. Same things with your business goals for yourself. So you want to start with the small ones. If you're at certified, your next goal is lead. If you're at lead, your next goal is star. So don't focus on, okay, I want to be superstar director, or I want to be a director, or whatever, until you focus on the next step first. And really, once you have that step down, then you need to write down, talk to yourself as if it's going to happen, because that matters. And I know some people will think you're crazy for it, or some people might think I'm crazy for saying that. But instead of saying and writing it down, instead of saying I want to be lead consultant, write down I will be lead consultant. So this is your month, this is your goals. I will blah, blah, blah. I will, blah, blah, blah. It's not I want to, or I'm wishing for, or I'm hoping for. It's I will, because you're telling yourself that, and your brain is a powerful thing. When you tell yourself, I'm going to do this, you're going to do it. Like, once you have your mind made up, there's no stopping you. I know, trust me. My main focus right now is getting lead. I will get it too. Yes, you will, girl. Okay, let's see. Where was I? There's gonna be sacrifices that you make. If for the things that you want, there are sacrifices. So some people say, well, I just don't have time for this. So think about what you're saying. I don't have time to post on Facebook. Okay. Do you have time to scroll through Facebook and read about all these other things that people are doing? Do you have time to look through Facebook and live vicariously through your cousin who's traveling every weekend and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to do that? What a time sucker is that? You're on social media already, so stop watching cat videos and post about your business, period. Like, that will change everything. Post consistently about your business. So another thing that I want to talk about briefly is trust. Like, your people that are buying from you, they need to trust you. They're not trusting you if you're posting something about Scentsy every 3 weeks. It's not, they don't know that you sell Scentsy. They think that you like it, but they don't know that you're the Scentsy girl that they need to come to, that is going to take care of them, that is knowledgeable about their products, who loves their job and loves selling other people's Scentsy. They don't know that about you if you don't do that consistently. Okay, let's see. Okay, so building your team. It's the last thing that I want to talk about. I think it's the last thing. Yeah. Also, one more thing about consistency. I squirrel sometimes, but you know what? That's fine. So being consistent is different for everybody. So when I say being consistent, I mean you're consistent. So if you only have the time, if you're working like 2 other jobs and you're, working your way to the top and you're like, I don't know. I don't know what your story is. I don't know what your why is to why you're doing this. But if you have some crazy situation where you can only post online 1 time a day, that's fine. That is consistency for you. So post 1 time a day. And I could tell you what I do. I spend more time in my VIP group and then a little less time on my Facebook page and a lot of time in my stories, because that is what's going on right now. So you have to stay up to trend on what is going on with social media, because right now in 2020, where people are doing less home parties, I have a home party this Saturday or this Friday, the first one that I've had in probably almost a year. I mean, it's insane. People are not doing a ton of home parties anymore. So that's okay though. This business is so easy to do online. So easy, but you have to do it. You have to cut the cat videos off, get off TikTok, quit watching all these other people and seeing what they're doing, and do your job on social media. It's so easy. And a lot of times you can incorporate it in what you're doing. You don't have to have a ton of time to do this. You're cleaning your house and you're like, oh, I don't have time because I had to clean my house today. Hello, counter clean. Take a video of you using that counter clean and wiping it down. Put a little song to it. Put it on your Facebook story. Easy as that. People love to see real. They love to see you using the products. So the last thing I'm going to say, I think my client just pulled up, is build your team. That is the biggest way that you're going to make money and grow your business. Build your team. Don't be afraid to ask somebody. If they say no, guess what? Nothing changes. Nothing. Nothing bad happens. Nothing good happens. Nothing changes. So the worst thing that can happen by asking someone to join your team is that they say no and nothing changes. It's fine. It's not going to physically hurt you. It's not going to change your life in any way, shape, or form. Nothing bad is going to happen if you hear the word no. So build your team. Do it. Because for 1, you're blessing lives. For 2, you're working smarter, not harder. And Again, if they say no, nothing changes. So the easiest way to build your team, one, is to flip the host. Two, make it about them. Don't make it about you. Don't try to build your team because it builds your paycheck. Build your team because you have a great business that you're a part of and you love what it's doing for your life and your family, and you want to share that with other people. You have to have that mindset to build your team. If it's all about you, they're going to know that, they're going to sense that, and they're going to run. So that's all that I have for today. I just wanted to come on here and give y'all some quick tips. Just the main thing that I can tell you to be successful in this business, be consistent. Check your news tab every day. If you want to make money in this business, don't ask somebody when the NFL warmers come out. It's on the news tab. Don't ask somebody when, the Christmas stuff is sold out. You have a website. If you want to know if something's sold out, go to your website. Like, you have to be in the know and be consistent every single day. Check that stuff. That's how you clock in every single day. So for you to clock in, because we don't have a time clock, go to your website, check your news tab. It's normally updated at 1 p.m. every day, Eastern Standard Time. And just get up to date on all this stuff so that you can lead your team, so that you're in the know. So when somebody asks you a question, you know exactly what's going on. Just be consistent. Be up to date. Post on social media. Go live. Don't be afraid of what people think. Just do it. There's so many filters. Even if it's on a day when you feel like you look like garbage, put a filter on there and get on social media and say what you have to say. Share that product and build your business. I love you guys.